Hello everyone, and welcome to this joint video between Six Financial and Alveo, discussing topics that bridge data and data management. My name is Martijn Groot from Alveo, and today I'm pleased to be joined by Roy Kirby, the Head of Core Products at Six. Today, we'll be discussing the fast-changing landscape in financial data. And by way of opening, let me summarize how we see the industry landscape evolving. First, the number of primary data sources is growing, and the effective onboarding and deployment of data can mean a high cost of change for financial services firms. Second, the last mile integration to operationalize data is often a constraint and represents a material effort. After all, data is only valuable when it can be used and impact decisions. Users want easier access to data and to quickly integrate it into their workflows. Firms need to lower the onboarding cost, fasten the change cycles via different integration and consuming options. Firms are looking to outsource more of their data management to reduce complexity. And finally, what we also see is that data management technology is increasingly combined with data and analytics to come to more comprehensive data as a service offerings, to have a fast and uninterrupted supply to end users. So Roy, let me start with the following question. Six has a great track record in data solutions. With the recent acquisitions that have been made within the data business, but also at the group level, how do you see the overall value proposition of Six Financial evolving?
Yeah, so thanks. So let me give you the viewers a quick introduction. So Six Group looks after banking services and exchange services and security services, payment services. And I sit in our financial information business unit, and we look after global financial information. Recently, the exchange business has extended. So the Swiss stock exchange, we still continue to run, but we also bought the BME exchange in Spain. So our exchange business is growing geographically. And within our financial information business, we're growing our content sets. And we made two major acquisitions. We purchased a company called Ultimus, which specializes in ETF data sets. And we also purchased a company called Orenda, which specializes in ESG data sets. So as we go forward, really our proposition as a group and within financial information is to extend geographically, but also extend in terms of asset class coverage, starting with exchange traded funds and ESG.
Okay, thank you for that. As a feed integrator, we at Alveo, we have a lot of experience integrating your traditional flagship product, VDF. Could you talk a bit about your product journey in terms of making data operational and facilitating the integration of your data into the customer's workflows?
Yes, so thanks. So for that, again, for those on the call who don't know Six and VDF, VDF is our velour data feed. It's a very structured feed which is used primarily in the back office and within asset servicing. We've always focused on interlinkage of data. So from a listing to an instrument to a company, from a corporate action to a name change to a price listing being updated. So it's very much asset servicing, back office focused. And our journey really over recent years has been to break down some of that data and look at new use cases for the data. So an example would be if somebody wants a price point on a listing for an equity, that's all they're interested in. So how do you get that data to them more easily and more quickly? It's not through a big structured feed, it's through something like an API request or a flat file access. So that's really the way that our products have been developing, from this very structured feed to much simpler access of the data on a much more granular level as well. So to just give the data that the user needs to them in the way that they need that, be that through a file or through an API.
Thanks. I think that's interesting what you mentioned, that sort of broadening of consumption options. I mean, when we think about data management, we often see that sort of dual requirement. On the one hand, the need for rigor to sort of fulfill the needs of day-to-day operations. And the other side is flexibility. So data management for insight and research, which may make for a much more dynamic and interactive way of consuming data. And the first requires something I think that data providers like SIX historically excel in, like reliable quality content, metadata, and transparency. And the second one indeed requires easier access and time to market to put then data in the hands of business users. I think both of us have a role to play there. And could you expand a little bit more about what SIX is doing to aid that second use case?
Yes, to aid that second use case, which is really what does a business user want? I think we do, and people like us as a data provider, you as a platform solution provider, we need to think about the end customer and their use case and what questions do they need to answer. Yeah. Sometimes in the past, we've thought about serving just data or just serving a platform. I think now we're focusing on the use case and what does the business user want? And if we just take a couple of examples, if you're within wealth management, typically you need to answer the question, is this financial instrument suitable to sell to this end private investor? Yeah. So it could be a very simple question like, is it sanctioned? Is it not sanctioned? Yeah. It's a very simple yes or no type use case. That does it have a good ESG rating? Does it have a bad ESG rating? Yeah. Is it an ETF? Is it an equity? Is it a fixed income product? All of this thing goes into, is it suitable for the end customer? And we together need to work together more to be able to get the answers to those questions more quickly to the business user. So that could be a wealth manager who's instructing their customer, but it could be in pre-trade as well. So there could be a pre-trade, should I trade this or should I not trade this? Which is more around, again, what is the instrument? What's the volume? Where does it trade? Those sorts of things, yeah. But we need to work together to look at the use case and answer those questions rather than just provide data or provide platforms.
Thanks a lot, Roy. That was very helpful. I mean, just finally, final question. In terms of questions that need answering, could you expand a bit more on what are the hottest topics at the moment from a content perspective?
Yes, I think I mentioned it a couple of times. I think hottest topic at the moment is ESG, and that can be regulatory driven ESG data like EU Action Plan within the EU, or it can just be ESG in general. So that's a hot topic. And we're also seeing hot topics around, should I call them more complex? Maybe they're not more complex, but instruments that are more structured, like exchange traded funds, where you've got the exchange traded fund, you've got the look through, and structured products where you've got the structured product and then you've got the look through. I think we're seeing those in terms of trends. That's why we made the purchases that we made. But we're still seeing the trend of, to answer that question, yes or no, you really need confidence in your provider. And the confidence in your provider still does come from the quality of the data, the source of the data, the checks that are made on the data, before I'm confident to say yes or no on my question at the end of the line. So yeah, that's what I would see in trends at the moment.
Great, thanks a lot, Roy. That was what we had time for today. So thank you all for watching this video. We look forward to seeing you in the next one of the series. In that one, we'll take a closer look at ESG data and data management requirements and the approach that SIX and Alveo take there. So thank you very much and goodbye.